You know, I've got cop buddies out of LA going cover up your license plate, and a reporter friend of mine, so he's like, dude, just put somebody else's license plate on there, and I'm like, my name's gonna come out sooner or later. You know, cop buddies out of LA going cover up your license plate. Not doing the mask thing, huh? You out, like,
we're outside, yeah.
Oh, so, yeah, pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Here, I'll just get rid of this thing. I thought there were going to be a ton of reporters out there, so I had my hat on and...
Had to disguise yourself?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was going to grab you my card, too. How long have you been in the business?
Over 10 years. Yeah, I'll show you a list of my filmography. Okay, so Seth Kenny, PDQ Media, Arm and Prop.
Okay.
Seth Kenny. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Just want to make sure that way we know.
Let me just,
you got a card.
Yeah, let me just grab you a card.
You got a copy of the warrant. That'd be great. I'll snap
Of course. Well, I'll just provide you a copy and then.
So does it specifically speak to the safe in here? Doesn't look like
in the rest of the warrant.
In the
so
body.
That's,
I mean, either way, like I said.
Right. I can show you a copy, or I can show you it.
Nah, it's all right. Look, I think we just we need to just like get it going anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I just hope you guys will work with me as much as I'm willing to work with you guys.
Right.
As far as like which guns you guys want to, Hi, I'm Seth Kenny.
How are you doing?
Yeah.
So last thing we need to do is open that safe. If you want to provide code.
Okay, great. I'll give you the code.
Yeah.
And whoever wants to do it, who's got gloves on, I guess?
I do.
Okay.
That's fine.
You guys never seen that movie?
What do you
The
do?
movie Big?
Yeah.
When he gets the pinball machines and him and his buddy are on that little ramp and they're going back and forth on the...
I don't think I remember that part. I just remember the piano.
Open.
Cool.
Crews are starting to give you dirty looks if you're the media.
I know. That's what.
Look it all over like that.
Yeah, like wait a minute. Well, I thought there would have been a bunch of reporters out on the street.
They're all at the office today.
How does that guy get to go in?
Happy there was
Yeah.
And we don't get to. What kind of permits do we need for that?
Yeah.
We're going in too.
Be friends with.
Yeah, and then I've got cop buddies out of LA going cover up your license plate, and a reporter friend of mine, so he's like, dude, just put somebody else's license plate on there, and I'm like, my name's gonna come out sooner or later, I just hope it's later.
Yeah.
Seth, I had a question for you. Let me just grab a glove real quick. And it's more pertaining to... I remember you telling me it's Starline brass, right?
Yeah, I brought some stuff with me. I didn't want to... if we want to throw it on the back of this pickup truck and just lay it out, and I'll show you guys very quickly.
Oh.
If you already haven't caught on to the variations.
Can you...
I just want to bring some stuff out here. And
just unlock so you can...
I can show you exactly what I provided to show.
Okay.
Okay.
Because you had said that they are all the same color, right?
No. Well, the primers are all, the 99.9% of the primers are going to be, okay.
Okay, we'll bring it over.
I can snap a picture of it.
And this is what I was trying to ask you about.
These...
Or get explanation.
50 of these, okay?
Okay.
50 of these were provided to the show by me with white gaffer tape on the end of the box, and then in my writing, okay, on the end of the white box, and then in my writing, as I remember, I'm 99.9% sure it was a blue Sharpie pen.
Okay.
And what I would write would be dummy rounds, and usually it'd be 2 lines because you can't get it all in 1 line, dummy rounds, .45 LC.
Okay.
It could have been reversed. It could have been .45 LC dummy rounds, but it's going to be that variation.
And always on the tape.
Always, well, it just depends. Now here's a box of 4440.
Okay.
Okay, which is a period, it's a period cartridge that came out in 1876.
Okay.
Okay, so it was used in the Colt single action armies, and then they also chambered the Winchester 1873 in this caliber. So if you're a cowboy, you would have one munition for both weapon systems.
Okay.
The 45 Long Colt was more powerful, though. So, but back in the day, there were no lever action rifles chambered in 45 Long Colt.
Okay.
It was 4440, 3840, and some other obscure cartridges. So anyways, there's going to be, from PDQ, right, there are going to be 50 of these. But these came off of 1883. All my dummy rounds were on 1883, like over 10,000, 15,000. And so what I did is I said, oh, these look like shit. So I sat there and I did this 50 times, and I went like this, and I got them to the point where I was happy with the way they looked, because these were they were just overdone. And then when they had a little bit something like that, I went, okay, cool. I put them in the box. But it's just real easy. So that's a Starline brass.
So, but on the primer is a different color.
It's nickel. And this is not period correct.
Okay.
But nobody wants to pay for, brass or copper plated primers that are actually period correct in the 1880s. And who knows about it? Like, everybody's dead, or you're just a super geek.
So everything that you provided, though, is matching color.
Yes.
Not with.
It's not going to. If you see a round that has a brass primer, 99.9% sure it's a live round.
That has a brass primer.
Yep.
Okay. You would not have supplied the brass primers?
No, those are live rounds. Here's a 45. See, even just as course of habit, even I'm handing off, and it's not even going to have anything in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And these are the same 4570, just with different grain bullets. The other thing too is that the ones that we provide in 4440 or 45 Long Colt, or there's even going to be some dummy rounds out there that are in 3840, are all consistently should have the same exact grain bullet. Okay. So whatever was recovered is probably going to be different than all the dummy rounds.
So.
And here's a box. Actually, you know what? No, I stand corrected. You're right. Oh, 45 Long Colt. Maybe he said 45 Long Colt. You're right. When did he put this? Oh, these are for me. We had these done specially for 1883. This box came from 1883.
Okay.
Okay. That's right.
And 1883 is
a Yellowstone prequel. Anyway, let me get him on the phone right now and just clarify.
Okay.
Okay. There's another one. Hey, quick question for you. On the 45 Long Colt dummies, dude, didn't you say you only do them in nickel with nickel primer? Yeah. Yeah, because that's okay. So what did you send Billy Ray? It was 3840 and 4440. Brass color primers. Okay. That's what you said. All the ones from 1883 had nickel because they weren't ready. Okay, and that's why the ones that I provided all have nickel. Gotcha, that's what you meant. Okay, all right, just to be clear. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Oh no, that's just a rumor. That's not true. Yeah, that's not true. Yeah, that's a Canadian rumor. Yeah. Okay, let me get back to it with the investigators. All right, thanks. Okay, so that's what he sent. I said because I said I only put those rounds from 1883, and that's what it was. This is period correct. Those aren't. And the problem was is that we were panicked because we had 10,000 of these to put into gun belts.
Okay.
And the prop master was panicked, and he said, I don't care if they're not period correct. I just need to have them in the gun belts. That's what it was. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding.
So will they have, so the ones that you supplied
will be these.
that have the two different colors?
No, no, I only supplied the 45 long Colt just like this, the aged ones with silver with nickel primer. Yep.
Okay.
And 100%. That's the only dummy rounds that I provided.
Do you remember how many boxes?
One box.
Okay.
Just like this. Now, so it may have said underneath, it may have had a different label, and that's why I gaffer taped it and then wrote that on there.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, though, when we, the 1883, it's a huge. Do you watch Yellowstone?
No.
Okay. You're the person. So it's just this massive production. Okay. I mean, there's we had 400 plus extras and reenactors for the Civil War scene. I mean, it's just huge. The scale of it is huge. So we have that many people, but that's the 1860s. But we advance into the cowboy stuff with all the gun belts, whether they're bandoliers or all that stuff.
Okay.
And there's thousands and thousands of dummy rounds out there, and they're falling into the dirt. The stunt guys will pop up, and then they'll be missing some of their dummy rounds. We've lost guns. Tim McGraw, one popped out of his holster, and we're searching the field because nobody knows when it happened.
Oh, jeez.
And so, it's like, metal detectors, people on horseback looking. Last one was found by somebody on horseback, which was cool. And so it's huge. So dummy rounds pop out all over the place.
Uh-huh.
And then the other thing is, what about somebody like a nefarious person, like one of the extras, or whatever? Somebody just goes shitty and puts in live rounds into the gun belts.
Okay.
So that it doesn't. So in my mind's eye, wherever they came from, it makes it worse. Of course, if Hannah's the one that did it, and everything I'm hearing is that's the case. That's her.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but even still, we have to assume that everything that makes it to the prop cart is hot. You can't just go, oh, well, it came off the truck and it's on the cart. It has to be, it has to be inert. It has to be a dummy round, right? So that's why what we do is we got this, and this is the prop cart, right? Each one gets rattled to ourselves as the armorer, right? Easy. Okay. Then you take that and the gun, or whatever else you need, and you take the gun that you've already verified is empty and cold, is cold. So there's two kinds of cold. There's cold. Cold is empty. Nothing in it at all. Cold with dummies is different. You call that out when you get to set.
Okay.
Cold gun coming in with dummies. It's you call it out so that when the people are on set, they're not surprised by, wait, oh shit, there's a gun right there. Even before all this happened, people are really, really sensitive to it. Mm-hmm. So when you go, you say, hey, cold gun on set, and then cold gun on with cold gun and dummy rounds.
Okay.
And then we take this, and I've got the revolver in my other hand, right? It's in half cock for this period. It's in half cock. And then rattle it for me, rattle it for you. You're the assistant director. Rattle it for the actor too. Ideally, put it in the gun. Okay, so this is the gun. So it's in the cylinder. Do it again, right? Everybody, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Okay, it's in the gun. Everything's full. Bring the hammer down slowly, gently, and then that's it. Then it gets handed off to the actor.
Okay.
The actor is not supposed to do what I hear Alec Baldwin did, which is start messing around with it. And honestly, there was just no reason for it to even have dummy rounds.
Right. You can't believe everything the media says.
I know. I'm just trying to say this is the routine.
Okay.
The director or the assistant director, and it could be, and don't worry about the first, second, third, all that shit, and none of it matters.
Okay.
It's the AD, the assistant director. He happened to be the first assistant director, right? So He's like the top tier assistant director. He's a veteran in the whole thing. I'm really surprised to hear that he was fired on his last gig for unsafe firearms practices. That was pretty.
And you're talking about David?
Yeah,
Okay.
That was pretty shocking. The fact that he just went and grabbed it off the cart and did what he did is. Everybody's in shock. Like, you never do that. Nobody handles the guns, but the armor and the props crew and the prop master. Prop master is the boss. That's her truck. That's all her stuff. It's under her.
And that's Sarah.
That's Sarah.
Okay. Question regarding that.
Yeah.
So, because obviously she works for you.
Sarah meets the minimum standard that the ATF recognizes for these situations.
Okay.
Okay, so there's only two mechanisms that for years, okay, over 10 plus years, there are only two ways that we can facilitate the movie industry and also satisfy and make ATF happy with doing that. And one of the thing they like to do mostly is do the relationship thing that Sarah and I have. And this is gonna sound really weird because it sounded weird to me. The ATF considers that just 1 hour per quarter is enough to legally satisfy the ATS requirement.
Okay.
So that's what happens. They get, I used to, in the past I would say that's ridiculous. 1 hour a week.
Yeah.
Makes more sense.
An hour of what?
An hour per week of like she gets paid.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So employment purposes.
Yep.
That okay.
Yeah.
And an hour a quarter.
And you see, I know it's pretty funny, right? And I'm like, really? Okay. The other mechanism is to make them a responsible party to the FFL, but that is, it's more involved, and the ATF frankly doesn't like that. They prefer to do the employee thing. Now, if you ask. As much as you ask a cop or an ATF officer, if you ask 10 of them, well, most of them are not even going to know the ATF's guidelines or policy relating to the movie industry and federal firearms licensees.
Okay.
They're just not.
So then how does Hannah get involved if this is if Sarah's pretty much responsible for this and, the weapons and everything of the sort, how does Hannah come in?
She's she'd be a supervisor, right? And you've got a specialist, forensic type specialist, and that's Hannah.
Okay.
But your lieutenant says, hey, I don't know anything about lifting prints and all the other shit, but I know you do, and you report to me.
Okay.
So the production company discussed and hired Hannah from a pool of people that they wanted. Okay. And so, it's ultimately because it's like kind of an anxiety thing for me. I'm like, dude, at the same time, she's not an employee. It's still my gun. I'm still getting named in the lawsuit.
Right. Right. So,
awesome.
And that's I guess where, my whole thing is coming from is how is she the one to say hey, you get to handle these guns, but you're not even an employee of this company?
She does, because they're locked up on the prop master's truck, and that's her domain.
Okay.
If the prop master fires Hannah, the guns stay. They are Sarah's responsibility as an employee of mine.
Just as far as having the guns, but not manipulation of the gun.
Right. She could take a gun and Sarah's qualified to do everything. The reason why she wasn't loading blanks is that she had an accidental discharge. And so she was, and
was
she
it the one that they had on this set earlier?
It was one of them.
Okay.
The rumor has it was 3 in one day. It was one with Sarah, and it was a different revolver. It wasn't the one that Alec, supposedly used. Yep, it wasn't that one. And then they had a second one, which was Alec Baldwin stunt double with the engraved lever action that should be here.
Okay.
Okay. So two totally different guns, and not any of them being the one that Alec, unfortunately used.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think I've got a picture of it because not that it matters. Very nice. Sergeant Tom Stone of LAPD. Do you need bail money? Asshole. I guess he a lot of these guys are my buddies. I did MacTac and RTF. They tapped me a long time ago for that because of the blank guns. And so I ended up with a bunch of cop buddies. You know, back when MacTac was like in its infancy in RTF.
And you were an armorer once upon a time too, right? Or do you
I still work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hannah had mentioned something about you being the lead armorer for The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a list of the shows. I don't mind sharing it because it's like, I mean, it just kind of goes to everything that I'm saying.
How come they didn't choose you for this?
I was busy. I was serious. I was busy, but it's like, if you were just going to handle, see, this is, I love you is not exactly what I need to hear right now, Sergeant Tom Stone, but thank you. Okay. Thank you for that.
Do you know how many guns did you guys supply to this?
I've got to put together a list, but I'm gonna guess it's like around 30 or so.
Okay.
But I'll grab the piece of paper, which is an invoice, because the gun, and if it's this one, which I'll show you a picture of. And you can actually hear you can hear Sarah talking in the background. So it's this one, which is. It's a 7.5 inch. There should only be two 7.5 inch single action armies on the show. And what had happened is that Hannah had taken it apart to clean it, and the hammer, once you removed the cylinder, the hammer was stuck in the rearward position, and she couldn't figure out how to fix it.
Okay.
And so she tried to jam it together, and she caused this. This is all, this is me. It's my best guess of why this scratch got into this brand new gun, is that she tried to jam the cylinder into the gun, and the bolt that comes up and locks the cylinder, she put a scratch in it.
Okay.
So I took this picture because I'm like, we're going to have words about this.
When did you see that?
This was October 12th, right there.
So it was like the second day of...
well, I think they started on the 4th. Sarah picked up guns on the 4th or so. Oh, yeah, right. Oh, can't hear now.
I'm like,
bloody
time.
Rude. So there's a lot of so I keep hearing from different sources that people on the crew had seen new boxes of ammunition. Okay, so this being a period show, we wouldn't have new production ammunition, right? If we were trying to create like a if we were trying to create like the general store, but it would be 1880s packaging. So there's absolutely no reason that anybody would have seen a box of Winchester whatever ammo or anything contemporary at all. Not at all. We always use
white boxes
for dummy rounds and for blanks. No packaging, packaging at all, other than you might see JS, Joe Swanson. So,
what's the typical number of boxes of ammo you're supposed to have on?
It just is. It's what you need, and then more than enough if they fall off.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a crystal ball moment as far as knowing what a production is going to need. The prop master is responsible for it all, though.
So if you have 10, 20 boxes of
blanks, totally normal.
Okay.
Yeah, because each one is different. I could, and I'm happy to share, like I said. I mean, you guys, hopefully you won't do me wrong on taking all these guns, because it's like, depending, whatever, you guys make the call.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that, these aren't germane, but if you guys think they are and you're going to take them all, I guess that's what you're going to do. So,
yeah, and I think they're discussing that.
Yeah.
It looks like they're photographing them right now. I'm just making sure that they're all...
Which is fine. I totally want to assist, and it's just a matter of, sitting down and going, okay, look, here are my thoughts on what should be in that safe right now.
Okay.
Okay? you know, again, you know my feelings. I put it in pretty clear detail. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't think any long guns should be included, but they have record of them, and they're not going to go anywhere. Well, other than if you guys are okay, I need to rent them to 1883.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your long guns.
Yeah, the long guns.
How many long guns should be there?
I could give you a number, but I mean,
I think I only saw one, and then like a plastic one or rubber one.
yeah. Oh, no, it should be a lot more than that.
We're talking
more.
like rifle long guns, right?
Yeah, shotguns, long guns, trap doors. They're not there.
I've only seen one.
Get out of here.
Unless they're in the safe, which it doesn't.
Well,
looks like there's still socks in the safe.
They
so
should be in there.
I'm sorry.
Alex.
Sorry. I'm like
I don't want to have to deal with the ATF.
we're not going down that route.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait. Give me a second, because I still see something in the safe. It looks like they're just on.
Okay, yeah, they should be all socked up and nothing. From what I hear from Sarah, the only things that were on the cart that day were, revolvers. That's it. So, like, in my mind's eye, if I were, like, I already have my feeling on the matter. It's like, if they found anything in there at all that wasn't completely cold, that to me is relevant.
Right.
To the care and custody. If there's any dummy rounds in there at all that they think are dummy rounds, dude, take the gun. Because it may be live ammo.
Yeah. I wanted to show you this. Do you guys supply those?
No, those no. And this is actually a really good way. No, those came, more than likely, they came out of, you know what? It's a good question where they came from. Where do they come from? That's weird. That may have come from Billy Ray.
Okay.
Because Thale would do this. You would see this and a hole cut in it.
That's what's on top, right?
Yeah, that's a hole cut in it. Now that's cool if it's in the gun. That makes sense. I mean, that's cool if it's in the gun, but it doesn't work for the cartridge belts because you see all these holes in it, right?
Yeah.
So I can't tell you where that came from, but that's one way of doing it. And see, without the primer, even if there were powder in there, and there of course shouldn't be, it's one of those things that indicates, yeah, somebody really took the time to do that. I've supplied just like that, but without that hole in the side.
Okay.
Because that's just.
But yours have the nickel.
Yeah, the 45 long Colts were going to look like this. Starline brass, nickel, and they're going to be aged like this.
So pretty much.
Yeah. Yep. And that looks like it. And I can't really see in the sun.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to see with.
May I hold your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that looks like one of mine because it looks aged and all jacked up. Yeah. And then my fingerprint's going to be all over that because I had to go. I was like. Doing that routine. And
do these so say they get done with the production of this movie, I'm assuming that all this goes back to you.
It does.
And then, or minus
wherever it originated, it goes back to.
Okay. So then, tons of people could be handling this.
It gets recycled unless it's a brand new box like this. Then you're gonna have potentially. There's a lot of people that could handle this. The cases. Right, the cases, bullets, and inert primers get into Joe Swanson's shop, right? And depending how they handle them, you're gonna have the guy whoever just might have picked it up, and Joe might have gone like that, or one of his guys, and then when they load them, they put the components together, the 100% inert components, then they get dumped into a bucket, and then they get sorted by somebody, put into the boxes, sealed up and shipped out or made for pickup.
When you guys purchase these, is it just the shell, or is it the whole thing?
It's assembled.
Okay, so it's fully assembled.
It's fully assembled, including the BB in there. For myself and Billy Ray, we both get our stuff from Joe Swanson.
And you guys, do you reload?
No.
Okay.
No, and I was thinking about it. I was, of course, in the sleepless.
Do you think it's possible for someone to take these apart and then reload them
and to make them live you wouldn't get the rattle though, and I thought about that. And the chamber pressure wouldn't be high enough to actually do what that round had done. There's no way.
If you reloaded them.
exactly.
If somebody, even if somebody was,
even if, but I mean, he's just trying to protect his daughter. But I'm like, dude.
oh, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, he doesn't know I'm here right now, or maybe I don't know, but and you could tell a lot of times because a lot of people have really acidic, acidy, right?
There you go.
You can even
Probably
see it on
I'm
there.
all,
Yeah, no,
I mean,
no, this is from being handled probably by me previously. The reason why I thought, and I texted with Sarah, and I put all this in writing to Sarah, by the way.
Okay.
Everything I'm saying to you, because I was like, I just, of course I can't sleep. I'm like, what, like, wait a minute, what happened? And the whole, I'm like, no, like, no, this can't be me. How could I have done this? And then I remembered, and at first, I thought I had given her a box of 4440, and I hadn't because they were having problems with that gun. So I pulled one off of 1883 that essentially matched what I thought, which is that one, the one I took a picture of with a scratch in it.
okay.
I grabbed another one, but it was chambered in 4440, which is this. You can't, and you can't put a 45 long Colt dummy round or blank in a 4440 gun.
What about, so what would the one that Alec Baldwin, the gun that he had?
45 long Colt.
Okay.
Yep. This will go in that. And it'll look more or less right. Like the camera may not like it exactly, but that's what it wants to see is a fuller look.
Okay.
Right? So it just looks a little bit bigger. So if anybody was like, oh, that doesn't look right, you'd be like, well, this is all the dummy round I have right now. Okay?
Okay.
So, but that's why I remembered going, no, I brought the 4440 for Sarah, but then I fixed the gun in like 2 seconds flat. And she said, oh, it's been having misfires or whatever she said. I said, okay, let me test it. So I took, and how, the easiest way to test a gun is to actually is to use it with blanks or just a primed case. So what it is is literally an open case that's been rolled, but it has an active primer, and then that's how I test a gun.
Okay.
So I tested it, and I was like, dude, it took me 10 seconds. Like, no, it's 9 times out of 10, if there's a problem with a gun on set, it's the actor.
Okay.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10.
Did you hear about any issues with these besides the misfires?
Misfire. That's not even the proper terminology. A misfire is it's supposed to go bang and it doesn't, right?
Just a negligent or accidental.
Yeah, ND or AD.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Okay.
Depending on how you want, however you want to slice it.
Did you hear about how those happened? Was it just like improper handling?
No, it was. Sarah said she was loading. She had it, pointed in the safe direction, which is how you do it. It's how you load your gun, right? And who knows? Who knows what happened? I don't know. I wasn't there. She can't even tell you how it happened, right? It's just like that immediate pow and like, and shock, and so. She did what she was supposed to do. She immediately told management, right, her bosses, which is the UPM, the line producers. Those are her immediate. I mean, she's got 1,000 bosses that are yelling at her all the time, but those are the most immediate ones. The UPM, Roe, and the line producer, Gabrielle, right? So she went, told them, and went around apologizing to everybody. That's who Sarah is. That's the way to handle it.
Okay.
And then from that moment on, she's like, I didn't want to handle any blanks. And I'm like, that's a smart move. Right. Because, you next thing you know, you're sweaty palm all the time and like twice as likely to have an AD&D. Right. So, yeah. So that happened. And then the stunt guy, I heard about it, had one the same day. And I asked her, I said, well, wait a minute. Is the gun having a problem or, what's going on? Oh, it's a misfire. And I was like, well, what do you mean by misfire? Because again, incorrect terminology. Uh-huh. Yeah. So, yeah. And then I had to pull these off of 1883.
And these are
all blanks that have gone off and in different loads and things like that. Like this is a quarter flash. It's a quarter flash. Oh yeah, that's right. This is quarter flash 5 and 1. Where is it? Yeah, it is. Oftentimes I gotta have the boxes to be certain about these things because a lot of time they mushroom out and they split the cases and things like that. Yeah. And then the color codes denote. See, yellow, right? Kind of a purpley one, more yellow. These would be like 8th loads. So anyway, there's everything from prime case, which just sounds like a loud cap gun, all the way up to full loads.
Okay.
Which is pretty much like as much gunpowder as you can cram into the case, depending.
So you don't think that someone could reload something like this?
No, because if there's just not enough case volume in here to stuff and create a chamber pressure that would be high enough for it to do what it did. I mean, we could test it, and you wouldn't hear the rattle. It wouldn't sound rattly. It wouldn't sound like anything. And you'd be like, that's not rattling. That's a problem. I'm going to go ahead and put that in my pocket and move on to the next one. And if it happens again, then I'd be like, we need another box of dummy rounds because all these aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then immediately I just, I duct tape the whole thing up and mark like live ? All that. And then I rat hole it somewhere.
And I'm assuming that this company does make live rounds.
No.
At all?
At all.
That Starline Brass does not make?
Oh, Starline, they don't make live, I don't think they make live ammunition. I think they just sell components.
Okay.
So.
But you said that when you buy them, they come fully.
From Joe Swanson. So Joe Swanson makes all the blanks and the dummy rounds. And he'll supply whatever you need. He doesn't make live ammo though.
Okay. But someone could technically buy the components and make live ammo out of
Starline Brass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They could. I mean, yeah, it could be out there for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially if we're talking about Starline cases, especially from dummy rounds. If you had these dummy rounds and you pop the primer and you were like, well, they're kind of useless now, you could pull the bullets using a kinetic puller and then punch out the primers and then live load.
Okay.
Load live. Yeah, you could. Because everything about this case is 100%. You can make live ammunition out of this. The bullet is still totally viable.
Right.
That primer that even if it's just intact and inert, it can be punched out. And so if it's already been hit by an actor or something or whatever, yeah, you kick that out, put in a live primer, dump powder in there, 28 grains or more of black powder, whatever, and then you've got a live bullet or live cartridge. You've got a live round. So yeah, that's entirely possible. But you're not going to, like, that BB is barely making it from edge to edge before it rattles. If you had any amount of powder in there, it would muffle it. And then all of a sudden, if you would try to actually get 28 grains of gunpowder in here, which is pre-1900 loads, it would be stuck. It wouldn't be able to move. The BB would just be trapped.
Okay.
So.
What if somebody took the BB out though?
Well, then you, as the armorer, would be, wait a minute, why is this not rattling? And then you're supposed to
check it.
Pre-rattle each one before you take them to set, and then get with the assistant director and do the same thing. And then the actor, ideally the actor is nice. It's not necessary.
Okay.
So, yeah. And Sarah told you she only went through the first half of the box or so.
I didn't interview, so I spoke with Hannah. I didn't interview Sarah, but I'm sure we'll need to talk to her again and kind of,
definitely,
just clarify some things now that we've.
Now, see that any marks on here, any handling, isn't going to be from me, and I always tend to open the box from the label side.
Okay.
That's just, that's just how I think.
Your protocol, your muscle memory.
Yep. That's how I deal with it. And normally each gun would have a kit, right? in a way, it depends on how everybody handles it, but ideally you have a kit. But, in small productions, not everything's, is perfect. But other than, like, how hard is this to do? It's not. It's just, and I don't know which, she actually, Sarah. Hey.
I'm gonna go make a phone call real quick.